Hello, Louise. It's lovely to see you again, and I'm really looking forward to be able to chat to you and hear about your thoughts about your recovery from the pain that I know you suffered for a long time with. So, first of all, what diagnosis were you given, and what was the situation that you were in?
I'd say I was suffering from many symptoms, but mainly back pain and sciatica for many years, probably 10, 15, maybe even 20 years. But it got very bad about 4 years ago. But it reached its peak, it got really bad about a year after my second child was born. And I was searching the internet, trying to find some answers for why, I was in pain. I'd been to the doctors, I'd seen specialists, I'd even travelled to Milton Keynes on numerous occasions and had prolotherapy at a great expense, which did work for a bit, but then the pain would come back. I had an MRI scan that came back but didn't actually show anything at all. So I was just searching really for a reason why I was getting so much pain. I couldn't understand it. And then by accident, as I was Googling my symptoms, I came across the work of Dr. Sarno. So I ordered one of his books, I read one of his books. Instantly it all made sense to me. I thought the book was written about me, and it just was a massive light bulb moment for me. But unfortunately he was in America and I'm not, so I thought, oh, there's got to be somebody in the UK doing something similar, and then I found Georgie.
How long were you really struggling with the pain until you came across Dr. Sarno's books?
I'd say about 18 months.
Right. How was that affecting your life?
Oh, massively. Especially as I'd not long had my second child, so I felt a massive amount of guilt, anger, frustration. I couldn't do all the things I wanted to do. I couldn't pick him up. I couldn't drive the car. I also have another child, so it was impacting on that. I was crying all the time, massive amount of depression, anxiety. I felt guilty towards my husband because everything was falling on him, and we're self-employed, which doesn't help. I was relying on other people, and it was just a massive impact on my life. I didn't want to get out of bed in the morning, or couldn't get out of bed in the morning. So I wasn't really living, I was just existing.
What difference did it make reading that first book?
The first thing it did was it gave me hope. And I thought, well, actually, there is, this does make sense. There could be a way out. Maybe I'm not going to be like this for the rest of my life. So yeah, it was hope. It gave me hope.
Great. And did you manage to do any work by yourself initially?
Yeah, I did try. I used some of the tips that were in the book, but I didn't feel like I was progressing really much. Although it made me feel a bit better, probably more mentally than physically. So it gave me the want to try, but I didn't feel like I was progressing much.
Okay, and then you got in touch with me, and you had a SIRPA assessment, didn't you? And then you went on to follow the online program and work with me to help support and guide you as you worked your way through.
I did.
So how did you find that?
I'd say it's probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, but the best thing I've done. It was only really quite a short time, really, sort of 6 to 8 weeks, but at the time it felt like it was going on forever. But each day I felt better, and something would change each day, which made me want to carry on, and that's why I carried on and stuck it out.
Excellent.
Yeah.
What was your biggest challenge during that time, do you think?
To accept that it was emotional, not physical. It was the fear. Yeah, fear, definitely. But once I did genuinely believe that, and it took a few weeks, but once I genuinely believed, well, actually, no, it's nothing physical, then the results just snowballed after that.
Excellent. So if you could pick 2 or 3 things that you found most helpful for you, whether it was insights or whether it was strategies that you could pass on to other people, what would they be?
The main thing that helped for me was journaling, without a doubt. I was a bit sceptical at first. I thought, I don't know, just writing down. But once I started, I couldn't stop. And I wrote pages and pages and pages of just everything. and realising that actually it wasn't just something that had happened maybe in the last year or so, or whatever. It went right back to when I was a childhood, and admitting all of those things, and things came out that I didn't even know that were still bothering me, and they obviously were. So it was gaining all those insights, and that was massively helpful. I found affirmations very helpful at the beginning. I still use them now. So I would keep telling myself that I was fit and healthy, there was nothing physically wrong, and I kept doing an activity all the time until it wasn't causing any pain. And gratefulness, that's a massive thing for me as well, is that when I wake up in the morning, I think, oh, God, I've got to do the school run, or oh, I don't want to get up. I think back to when I couldn't get up, when I thought I couldn't get up. And then I think, no, actually, there's a lot of people that would love to be doing the school run, or cooking the dinner, or doing the washing, because those things to me that when I couldn't do them, they were the end of my world, and they broke my heart not to be able to do that. So yeah, gratefulness is a big thing for me. I mean, I've been pain-free for nearly 4 years now, but I did have a little relapse only a couple of weeks ago, actually. It was Christmas, and I remember, oh, it's fine, I've got 18 people coming for Christmas, but I know how to deal with it, blah, 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 I'll be fine. Well, obviously I wasn't. And then a couple of weeks ago, when everything had gone quiet, and I went to move, and the pain was just there, and I was just, so I talked to myself, and I thought, this is ridiculous. I got up, moved around, no pain at all, as I knew there wouldn't be. But I thought, well, actually, there's got to be something causing it. It's telling me, you know, it's saying, oh, you're not quite right somewhere. So I sat and journaled,
well done.
and did some meditation and some mindfulness, and I've been fine ever since. Sometimes it's still
because it's a life journey, isn't it?
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Yeah, it's not just by clearing out everything from the past or whatever. This is about our personality, our lifestyle, and actually not just resolving pain, but actually looking after ourselves and preventing a recurrence. So well done. Definitely.
And it is so much personality as well. I really learned that a lot of it is self-induced.
Yes, unfortunately. How did you deal with the fact that some of your personality traits do cause self-induced stress? So what did you do about that to make things easier for yourself moving forwards?
I recognise it more, and so if I start to find myself having the chattering going on in my head and having all these things, I realise, well, a lot of it is just what I'm perceiving it to be, and it's not actually as bad as it is. And I have learned to say no sometimes as well, and that actually, if I'm not happy, or if I'm stressed, then I can't do the things that I want to do and look after people that I want to look after. So I just try and recognise it more than I ever did.
Right. And how has that impacted, and the whole programme impacted your life now and your relationships?
Oh, massively. I see things so differently than I did. And also I can see it in my children. So I try and pass a lot on to them without scaring them too much. But just trying to recognise your feelings as well.
And how did you initially get over those fears that you mentioned? Your fears that there was a real physical problem, but anything you did would make it so much worse, etc.
I read a lot. I read every book that I could, and your book, and it just made sense. And just things like, well, you know, how can your back be that weak that it would hurt just sitting in a chair? Just eventually made sense to me. And the fact that each day I was getting better, but I wasn't doing anything differently. Well, I was doing more. I was making myself do more physically. So the more I was doing, the better I was getting. And so it was like, well, if there is a physical problem, or if there is inflammation, it's not going to disappear within, like, you know, half an hour or whatever.
Yeah.
So it just started to make sense. I would just like to say if anyone's not sure, if anyone's thinking that they want to give it a go, but they're not sure if it's for them, it's just try it, because it really is the best thing that I've ever done. As I say, it was the hardest thing I've ever done, but it's there for life. And now, like I say, 4 years on, I'm pain free, and I got my life back. And keep with the hope, keep going, and don't give up. I know it's a cliche, but it really is a journey, and just stay on it, and you'll get there.
Brilliant. Thank you. It's wonderful to hear your story, Louise. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Georgie.